Hi everyone, welcome to VR Weekly News for the week of the 21st of May. It's our second episode.
It is indeed, yes.
My name is Rob. This here is Jamie.
Hello, hi.
Real name James.
Thanks.
We're going to try to cover some of the big VR related news of the week. We're going to cover any releases that came out last week. I didn't actually finish writing that sentence.
That's fine, let's just keep going.
We're going to cover releases, announcements and updates to existing games.
Cool, what's up first, Rob?
First, we're going to cover stuff that's come out last week that's interesting.
Okay.
Number one, Compound. Probably the biggest release.
What is Compound, Rob?
What is Compound? It's a roguelite. It's a roguelite FPS game. Okay. It had a demo come out a really long time ago. It launched into early access this week though. It's a bit bare bones right now, but I think it's got a lot of potential and it's definitely one to watch. I was playing it quite a bit last week.
Oh, nice.
And we've got a video up on it. We'll check out.
That's Compound. I know what Compound is.
There you go. I'm glad you watched my video, Jamie.
I did. It was very good.
Yeah.
And Compound also looks good.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
It does look cool. You should try it. I was surprised
I do want to try it.
That it doesn't give me any motion sickness. I was playing it full on.
So this is one where you move through the environment.
Yeah, you move through. It's proper like locomotion using the trackpad.
Right. Which can be a bit hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah, in Skyrim makes me want to throw up, and in this, I'm absolutely fine. I played it for an hour solid each time, and it was fine.
Nice. So the next game up is SACRALITH, The Archer's Tale. Bit of a mouthful, that.
Yeah.
Which, as you might guess from the title, it's a medieval archery game, and it's coming out, or even it is out now for the Vive and the Oculus. And I think from the gameplay trailers, it looks fun. And archery is generally something that works really well in VR.
Yes. It's
tactile, it's physical, and it involves two hands. It just makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. That's why there's so many of those really early Steam releases were archery games, I think. Like, have you played Hollow Point?
I haven't, no.
So Hollow Point is like one of the most exercisey VR games because you have this basically a dojo type of place and you're just shooting targets, but you've got to avoid things coming towards you as well. It looked a little bit like story mode Hollow Point from the trailer.
Yeah, from like early previews of the game and early reviews even, they're saying that it's really atmospheric and visually, quite impressive.
Yes,
which for a VR game
looks good, yeah.
is something quite unusual, to be honest.
But that it is short, I think everyone's saying.
Oh, I didn't know that. But.
And we have TSA Frisky.
TSA Frisky.
Yes, that just came out. It's a sort of job sim stuff. I think job sim can be a genre now, I feel, in VR.
I think so.
When you're in like a reasonably static area and you're doing something that at least vaguely relates to a real life job position, like all the supermarket scanning games and all those things. So TSA Frisky is one of those. You play a TSA agent, which sounds a bit more serious than it is.
Right.
It's actually a really sort of tongue-in-cheek game. You search the passengers, you search the suitcases, you try not to let contraband for you, but it's very comical.
So a bit like Papers, Please?
Yeah. Dan played a little bit of this last week, and he said it reminded him of Papers, Please, just a lot less dark.
Cool. Rob, do you remember The Forest?
I do remember The Forest.
So The Forest was a game that a lot of people were very excited for.
Yes.
It's been in early access for a super long time.
Yes.
And the developers have just announced that they're going to be patching the game, so it's got VR support for the whole game.
Yes.
And what they've added is basically you can sort of get your UI on your watch, and you can do physical things like chop down trees and things, so it's quite interactive. And in case you didn't know, in The Forest, you are the survivor of a plane crash, plane wreck, and you're on an island and there's cannibals and things and you've got to survive.
Yeah, it was one of those sort of archy, rusty, early accessy,
there was a period where there was quite a lot
crafty
of these,
games. So I sort of missed it because I played so much Minecraft in university that I had enough. But I am excited to try this out, and I'm probably going to hopefully have a video on this week if it comes out.
The interesting thing about The Forest, at least I think for VR, is that in the original trailers for this game, it was pretty scary.
Yes.
And that was scary not in VR.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, is it going to take on a whole new level playing this in virtual reality? Yeah,
I think as long as the locomotion is good in it, it could be really cool. But it's meant to come out today, so hopefully we'll see it in store today. There hasn't been a lot of information about it since they announced the release date, so I'm not sure if it's going to be emergency pushback or if it's going to be out by the time this video comes out. Okay, those are the releases I wanted to cover, but we do have some other announcements as well.
Yeah, a few interesting things.
Both of them PSVR. First of all, Dreams VR.
Dreams
is going to be using VR at launch. It wasn't. It was going to have the VR added in later on. Dreams is the new game from Media Molecule that lets you sort of create your own games, sort of like the Little Big Planet series, but on a much larger scale. Originally, the VR mode was going to be added at some point post-launch, but now it's going to be available at launch. It's really nice to see a VR experience actually being brought forward and not pushed back. And you know, when you're talking about something as creative as dreams, it feels like VR is actually going to be quite a big part of that.
For sure, this could be a really big thing for the PlayStation VR because it's all user-generated content. This is potentially unlimited VR experiences, and Media Monaco are making a big point out of how you can make any game in Dreams, or like films even. So it's exciting, and the game also is very dependent on the Move controllers. I think for creating things, that's always going to work better in VR.
Yeah, it's hugely ambitious.
Yes, it is.
How that works, we will find out at launch. But I mean, it is nice that it's coming out with the game. A lot of PSVR releases tend to get pushed into later months, or they tend to be like add-ons, like the Star Wars experience in EA's
Battlefront.
Yeah, they're not quite the full thing, but this here feels like an actual proper part of the game.
Yeah, no, very, very exciting for fans of Media Monaco.
And another strange, kind of a surprising announcement.
Yes, so Rec Room has been a bit of a hit on PSVR. It's kind of like a sort of social club, social space where you can do sort of little mini games and activities with your friends.
Have you tried it?
I haven't, no.
No. It always made me feel like it was going to be full of children being angry at me.
Just from the art style, or just...
Just from the fact that it's one of those like VR chat things.
Yeah.
It feels like there would be a lot of memes.
I can imagine there would be.
But...
Speaking of memes, kids these days, they love the Fortnite.
Good segue.
Thank you. They love their PUBG. And the game is actually going to be getting a Battle Royale mode, which I'm sure every game is going to be getting this year. I know Call of Duty is getting one. They've just announced. But yeah, the game is going to let 16 players go head-to-head. And actually, if you want to get an early glimpse of this before it releases, there's going to be an alpha test on the 25th and 27th of this month. So if you want to try it out...
It's this weekend.
Yes, it's this weekend.
Which is, 16-player Battle Royale is like the smallest Battle Royale ever made, I think.
Yeah.
It could be cool. It's interesting that something like Rec Room is getting updates of this scale, I think.
Yeah.
And there aren't many VR... There isn't really any VR Battle Royale game that's in a polished state yet.
No.
So that could be very cool.
What's next?
What's next is updates to games that are already out.
Okay.
A couple of ones to talk about today. First is H3 VR. That's hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. Have you ever heard of this, Jamie?
I haven't, no. But I like the sound of it.
It's an interesting name. H3 VR is the abbreviation for it. It's like a gun range game.
Okay.
But that kind of sells it short because it's got like a ton of content, a ton of mini games. But it's really about the amount of simulated weaponry they have and the sounds and the way that the guns actually work in comparison to real life. It reminded me of, you know, like when Forza moved on to the next generation, and like you could explode the car out and all the car people were getting really excited. It's like that, but for guns.
For guns, well, I'm sure people will be excited by that.
Yes, absolutely. They have a lot of them, a lot of guns, 40 added in this update.
Okay.
They're updating the audio systems, the recoil systems. I won't cover everything here because it's a huge list of patch notes. But I mean, if you have any interest in firearms at all and you've been thinking about picking it up, this is probably a great time to dive into it. And we have Beat Saber.
Everybody loves Beat Saber.
Jamie has been playing a lot of Beat Saber. Jamie stays in the office to play Beat Saber.
I do.
He nearly got locked in when I hid the padlock from him the other day.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy about that. Beat Saber doesn't have an official update, but it does have a really cool mod which actually adds the ability to download songs in the game itself.
Oh, have they changed that now?
They haven't, but there is a mod.
There is a mod to do that.
So
okay.
you can go into the game and you can download everything from beatsaber.com in the game.
Right.
Which is so much nicer.
Because I remember extracting files and moving it back and forth. And
which wasn't hard, but it was a pain.
It was a pain. So it's making it easier. That's good. You don't have to take off the headset to...
Guess how many custom songs there are available for
How many custom songs are there?
No, you can't just repeat the question. You've got to guess.
Okay. I'm going to go for a big 46.
300.
That's a lot.
That's more than 46.
That's, yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
Speaking of facts, did you know, Rob, that so there's been the recent release of Ready Player One?
Yes.
Big sort of VR film, Steven Spielberg. According to the president of HTC China, Ready Player One has actually boosted interest in VR by 23% in China.
Just in China?
Yes, I've said in China a few times. I thought the film was a bit, it wasn't great, but this is great news for VR because, as we all know, VR, once you try it, it really opens up your eyes to what the sort of medium can do.
Yeah.
So the more people interested in VR, the more people trying it, that's always good.
I worry about the Chinese audience being somewhat disappointed by
after seeing
the current
Ready
generation
Player One
of VR, and then jumping in and being like, oh, and having to set up the Vive base stations for 45 minutes first.
Yeah, you didn't really see that in the film, did you? And he was doing it in a van as well. And like,
yes, he was.
Not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet. But it's cool that the world's biggest market is getting more and more interested in VR. If China gets behind it, then hardware opportunities grow, even if the games aren't always a direct crossover for
sure.
us. I think that's everything for this week. I didn't actually write into the script a outro.
I'm sure we can wing something.
We can say something like, thank you very much for watching. This is still very new for us, so if you have any feedback on what we should cover, how we should cover it, please let us know. And please subscribe for more. We have one of these out every week, the clue's in the name. We also have other reviews and articles and features about VR
videos every day except yesterday. We messed up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. Bye.